Today's video is going to be about how to deal with pre-race anxiety or nerves. And the reason that I want to share this video is when I coach runners, you go through a very big process of helping them to perform their best on race day, going through a plan. But I've seen runners where nerves have really got the better of them, and it means that the decision making isn't as good, and it does impinge and impact on the results that they get. So I think it's a very real issue that when you deal with it correctly, that you're going to improve your overall performance on race day. So what are race day nerves specifically? We all know what it's feel like to feel like nervous. However, anxiety in effect is anticipation of something that's going to happen to you. As mentioned earlier, some of this gets you primed and ready. Too much can put you into panic mode. Our ancestors, to survive threats, we had to have a response to those threats, to be able to anticipate them. This is now commonly called fight or flight mode. When those threats had gone or reduced, you had rest and digest. Basically, you calmed down and got back to normal after the perceived threat. What you've got to understand is your brain's prime directive is to keep you safe. If the signals you send to it indicate the chance of an imminent threat or harm, the body is ready for potential fight or flight and becomes hyper vigilant of any incoming threats. Hey presto, you're now either moderately excited or anxious, depending on what signals you have been sending to your brain, to what level of threat it is now facing. So how do you get rid of nerves before a race? Well, there are two broad ways. You can look at pre-race and the race itself. So let's have a look at pre-race. From coaching many runners, I've observed a lot of runners that get anxious also suffer with a bit of procrastination, basically putting stuff off. Now, it kind of makes sense when you look at it. If you're prone to anxiety, moving towards events that make you anxious is going to seem very counterintuitive. It makes more sense to put it off or avoid it. However, when you look at your training, that can become a great anxiety buster if you allow it to. It's a great anxiety buster because training can create certainty and consistency. So in effect, training, you can rehearse certain aspects of the race. For example, what you wear, the gels you use. Now, for most, this would not mimic race day. You wouldn't have a crowd or you wouldn't have to travel. So depending on the level of anxiety, sometimes doing a B race and having a rehearsal there, getting used to arriving at the race, all that goes with a race can help. Once an activity becomes routine, you are unlikely to feel anxious about it. A few nerves aren't the end of the world. Another aspect to think of pre-race is dealing with your expectations. We can so often as runners pile pressure on ourselves. Goals are great as long as they pull you towards what you want and not drag you down. Stay in the present moment. A technique I use consistently if I'm feeling anxious or in myself, do I have problems? Yes, everyone has problems, but do I have one now? No. If you ask this question, your brain will often keep jabbing away and telling you you do have problems, but just keep on asking yes or no. Do I have a problem now? If the answer is yes, then deal with it. If my trousers were on fire, I'd deal with the problem. They're not, by the way. If no, then thank your brain for its guidance, but ignore it as a false alarm. We're all aware of alarms that go off that are only drills and not the real thing. Spotting it means that you start to control your anxiety instead of your anxiety controlling you. On race day, control the controllable. Focus on what is within your control. Get good at noticing when you're out of your own lane, either in other people's stuff or fretting about facts. out of your control. If it's raining, you can't stop it, but you can ensure you're wearing the correct gear for the conditions. Give yourself time to get to the event. Control all the variables you have control over and do your very best to ignore the rest. When people go past you in a race or look better than you or look more prepared for you, that is just a projection, and they're probably looking at you thinking exactly the same. If you begin to feel anxious on race day, ask yourself, do I have a problem now that I need to solve? Control your breathing by taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, making this ha sound. I know you'll look weird, but who cares? Check in with your body. If you're storing any tightness anywhere, just loosen off. We all store stress. I store it a lot in my jaw and in my upper back. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm aware of that. Carrying stress into your race means that your body has to work harder. So the more loose and relaxed you are, the more efficient you can be as a runner. Remember your breathing. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Loosen your eyes, because when you're in fight or flight, your vision is very focused on the threat. Widen your vision out either side of you and relax. Relax your body. Even relax the chattering voice in your head. Turn it into Mickey Mouse or something. Find a way to relax and rehearse some of these things in training. And what becomes routine is very hard to get anxious about. This is something I work with on my runners that do get anxious, because it can impact so much into their race day results. If you want to know more about really getting more predictable results from your marathon or half marathon training, we do a 10-day free workshop called the Marathon Maximiser. We run them about once every month for 6 weeks, and we look at how you can navigate your training plan so that you become a more efficient trainer and you increase the likelihood that you're going to turn up on race day ready and confident. If that's of interest, there'll be a link somewhere below this video. Look forward to any comments you have. If you like some of your content a little bit shorter and sharper, I am on Instagram. Just look for Lee Boniface. I'm sure you'll find me. Bye for now.